Hi, Calculus 3 students. My name is Shiloh Lawrence, and I'm going to be your instructor this semester. I want to just hit a couple of quick highlights of some of the things that are important on our Moodle page and also in MyLabs Plus, just to make sure that everybody understands where the assignments are and how to do the assignments. So right now I am on my Moodle page. Yours might look just a tiny bit different because yours is a student Moodle page. I'm really proud of you guys. Without me even having to email, everybody has got their enrollment verification activity done and their NCC orientation certificate uploaded. So bravo, great job. That makes my life a whole lot easier. There's a syllabus here. It's a pretty generic syllabus. Nothing really specific to how I run the class or anything like that. We all have common syllabi across the math department. So it mostly is going to discuss some of the topics that we're going to cover, what the grading scheme is going to be. If you have never logged into MyLabs Plus or you don't remember how to, there are some instructions here on how to log into MyLabs Plus. That will be our main form of doing homework and taking tests, is in MyLabs Plus. I also have an assignment schedule, and I've been intending to do this for years, and it has just taken me over time teaching this class multiple times to figure out exactly how long things take, approximately when I'm going to be able to get to certain assignments. So I'm really excited that I'm able to provide you an assignment schedule, and we should be able to follow it very, very closely. I do always reserve the right to make small adjustments, but they would always be communicated very clearly to you guys. And you can always trust what Moodle says. So if there's something in the weekly Moodle that doesn't appear in the assignment schedule, most likely you have an email somewhere from me that explains that and explains why. But this is a very, very good representation of what I expect us to have for graded assignments this semester. I wanted to give you a little explanation about this questions forum here. This is a learning tool that is part of the class. It is incorporated into our online class as one of our learning tools. It's very important that you use this. Before you send me an email asking me a Calculus 3 related question, whether it's a homework question or a concept question or something like that, a question about something on one of the lab assignments, you should post it here first, because you and your classmates need to have a way to collaborate and a way to help each other, which can get very tricky for an online class. So I want you guys to be able to help each other. If you are able to answer anybody else's question in this forum, please do so. And I will also pop in and out of the forum occasionally, a few times a week, to see if there's anything I can help with as well. Because it's possible you've got a really, really difficult question that nobody knows the answer to. So I know I will be participating, but I want you guys to also participate and have that be the first place you post any math-related questions. And then if anybody sees a question in there they know an answer to, feel free to answer it the best you can. So that is just kind of the preliminaries for the course. The next block I have on our Moodle page are some online learning resources. You can scan through those at your leisure. And then I have week number 1 highlighted because that is this week. We have legitimate math assignments this week. We're going to start in chapter 13, and we are going to cover 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We're going to cover 5 chapters this semester. None of them are crazy long, so it won't be too bad. Most of the chapters are split up into 2 weeks. So here we're going to start right in chapter 13 and cover section 13.1 through 13.3. I have lecture videos for all of this material, and these links are to my YouTube page. Um, under complete every week, those are the assignments that are going to be graded, and you need to make sure you've done all of these. Most of them I'm going to have linked, so you don't have to try to guess where they are, and I'll clearly say where they are. So My Labs Plus, homework number 1, you can click there and it will take you to My Labs Plus. Or if you already have it bookmarked on your computer or something, I'm sure you've used it before, you can use that. We also have a discussion board this week for everybody to introduce themselves. Make sure that you are reading the instructions and answering specifically the things that were asked of you. You're not just going to get completion grades for these. You need to make sure that you are following the instructions and doing exactly what you were asked to do. And then this last thing for this week is the student information questionnaire. It's just gathering some current information from you. Sometimes we don't have the most up-to-date information in our system. I don't plan on calling any of you regularly, so it's mostly just for emergencies. I need to make sure I have a good contact phone number and some other things there. I have also made week number 2 available. However, I am still working on the last couple of videos in case any of you like to work ahead a little bit. The My Labs Plus assignment's not going to pop up until midnight tonight, but I already do have some lecture videos posted for section 13.4 and half of 13.5. I already have the vector lab posted, so you can take a look at that. It's just a list of vector calculations that I want you to do by hand on paper using graph paper, so I can see that you are able to do this and it's not just kind of a point and click on the computer with My Labs Plus. Next week's going to be a busy week for us. Week number 3 is going to be a little bit easier, but just to forewarn you, week number 2 is kind of hefty. Under Proctor Track Dashboard, you'll see the instructions are use this link to complete both the onboarding quiz and the vector quiz. The onboarding quiz will not make you do anything except for the preliminary setup of Proctor Track. It's going to want to do an ID scan, a face scan, some different things like that. But then that's it. There's nothing else it's going to ask you to do. The vector quiz, once you have the onboarding quiz set up, you can do your vector quiz, which is going to every single time do a face scan, an ID scan, or whatever, to make sure every single assignment, quizzes and tests, that it's actually you taking them. So it's going to have you do your Proctor Track setup, and then it will direct you to My Labs Plus and allow you to take your vector quiz. But it's going to proctor you. The main thing I want you guys to know about proctoring is that you are not allowed to surf the internet or use any sort of online or digital resources during a quiz or a test. If you keep a notebook full of your Calculus 3 notes and a notebook full of all the work you've done for your homework, I'm very happy to let you use that on quizzes and tests. I think it's very important that you get in that habit of taking good notes, keeping those notes, and I would like to reward you for that. You may use them on quizzes and tests. You may also use your textbook. If anybody has one of these gigundous physical guys, you may use your textbook. But you're not allowed to surf YouTube. You're not allowed to look up Khan Academy or any of those solving sites where you could just type it in and hit enter and it tells you the answer. It's got to be handwritten stuff. So that is week 2. I hope to get Moodle Weeks open about 10 days out, so that towards the end of the week, you'll be finishing up 1 week, but you also have the next week's material available if you want to get started on a few days earlier. Get in the habit of checking your Nash Community College student email multiple times per week. Preferably every single day, but I know that's not a possibility for some people. Make sure you are checking it regularly. The other main site that we're going to be using is My Labs Plus. I've got it linked every single week. We have a MyLabs Plus assignment. I will have the website linked, so if you want to, you can just click on there. But every single week, you should start in Moodle to see what assignments there are to do, and then you can just link out to those assignments. So in MyLabs Plus, really quickly, I'm going to click on Math 273. And you should see the current required assignment right here on your homepage. If you don't, you can click on assignments over here on the left, and you will see a list of all the assignments that are currently available for you to work on. I'm going to go into this assignment because I want to point a few things out that I know some people are unfamiliar with, and also a few suggestions I have for how to proceed through these assignments. And that is the wrong thing. All right. Homework number 1. I've already done question 1. I don't remember, but, and I don't want to do a multiple choice here. Okay. So if you are in the habit of not looking at your textbook, not looking at lecture videos, and just jumping straight into your homework and hitting the question help, you are not getting the full benefit of all of the studying and learning that you could possibly do. I don't feel that this is a good way to actually learn the material. It's a good way to be told really quickly how to do this particular problem, but it's not a good learning method for having an overall understanding. So please do not jump straight into the homework and then just view examples every single time. That's not a good way to learn this material. What you should be doing is looking through your textbook, and up here under our online learning resources, I have a very short video on a method of note-taking that I learned in college. And this note-taking method is specifically for taking notes from a textbook reading. And if you have the time, I strongly encourage you to watch that video and try the method that they talk about in there. It's a great way to take some meaningful notes, and also some suggestions on how to use those notes later to help you study. So that is one thing that you should be doing, is reading your textbook and taking notes. You should also be watching the lecture videos. Some of those I fine-tune the details of the things that were in the section and kind of leave out some of the stuff that was not important and cover some of the stuff that is important or more important. So you can get a better idea from me of some of the shortcuts, some of the things that are important and are not important as you watch the videos. And it's also important that you take notes here, especially with the examples. And not just the steps for examples, but add some notes next to the steps of the example saying what you're doing and why you're doing it. That is going to completely transform your math learning. If you take that extra effort and write things out and go through your textbook, it will make a huge difference. So I encourage you to try that. While you are in an assignment, while you are in an assignment, there is a view and example which will walk you through a similar problem. There is, for this one, an animation, which I imagine, since this is an addition problem, is going to show you the parallelogram or the polygon method for addition of vectors. There's a link for the textbook, so you can link directly to the section where this concept is taught in the textbook. If you use the Ask My Instructor button, it will send me an email. So I would prefer that you maybe take a screenshot of this and post it in the question forum, but make sure you specify what your question is. Don't just say, somebody teach me how to do this. Explain what you've already done, what you know, and say, what am I missing? What is the next step? I don't know it, things like that. Print is just going to allow you to print your whole homework assignment, which is perfectly fine with me. You're welcome to do that. Not every question has all of these same question helps. I don't have any turned off, I don't believe, so everything that is available for each question should be an option there. But it's really different from question to question. Oh, one more thing I wanted to show you. If you don't get the question correct, you have an infinite number of opportunities to continue trying until you get 100. Okay? Each question, if it's a fill in the box, is going to give you 3 tries. What I suggest you do is a similar question. Once you see that red X on your 3rd try, that means you don't have credit for this problem and you don't get any more tries. But if you hit similar question, it starts all over again. So they're going to change some of the numbers on you, and you can keep trying a similar problem. And if you get this one correct, then you will get the problem correct on the homework. So if you have the time, again, don't settle with any problems being incorrect. Don't leave any problems incorrect. Always do a similar problem and try again so you can get it correct. You might get frustrated with some of these problems and you might just say, oh, I'm just going to skip this one. One's not going to make a big deal. And it really might make a big deal because that might be the exact problem that is on the test. And because you gave up on it on the homework, you're now stuck on the test with no notes on how to do it and no knowledge of how to do it because you just skipped it. I very often create the tests by pulling just some of these homework problems that I think are most important. Another thing that, and the last thing, I know this video is getting a little bit long, so the last thing I want to show you is the multimedia library. The multimedia library has a bunch of extra materials to go along with all of the chapters in our textbook. So right now we're working on chapter 13. You can just say, show me everything for chapter 13, or you can just narrow down to one specific section. I'm going to just tell it to give me everything it has for chapter 13. It's got some animations for finding a unit vector and for doing operations on vectors. It has some interactive figures that you can manipulate to help you understand concepts and be able to visualize some of the things that we're just doing mathematically. It's got links to the textbook, and it will take you to the start of each of the different sections. There are also video lectures and lectures that work out specific examples. And the nice thing about these, the video lectures are usually about 30 minutes, but most of the other ones are only a couple of minutes long. So if you benefit from watching somebody work out an example and kind of talking through the whole thought process, I like to do that a lot in my lecture videos, but if you want to see some more examples, there's a ton of them here. So use that as well. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to email me and I will get back to you as soon as possible. If you have any math content questions, remember the first place that you should post it is up here in our top section in the questions forum. You can post documents, you can post pictures, you can just type whatever you want to do so that you can properly communicate to your classmates and to me what exactly your question is. I look forward to working with you guys. I have office hours Monday, Wednesday, Friday evenings. They are just a pop-in Zoom room. I don't usually sit there in office hours the whole time, but I make sure that I'm available during those times. If anybody tries to join that Zoom room, I will get instant email notifications saying somebody's waiting there for me. So you can either tell me ahead of time that you're gonna pop in, or you can just pop in and wait just a few minutes for me, and I do get a notification and I will meet you in there within a few minutes. Thank you, everybody. Assignments are due on Sundays, so make sure you have everything done by Sunday at midnight. Good luck, work hard, and don't be a stranger.